Being a homeowner, and especially when on a normal busy working day, these flyers on home insurance, which our owners association puts up in the elevator, caught my attention. And I thought, what a noble cause, what a way of creating awareness. I quickly reached out to my owners association, and Sanjay happily volunteered to support and promote my cause of awareness. Here are some insights from Sanjay's experience and expertise. So, welcome Sanjay to the episode on home insurance.
Thank
You've been associated with the Homeowners Association for several years, and given your expertise, experience, and the way you manage everything, which we all are obviously evident to, I thought it'd be a good idea to ask you from your perspective as well as your experience, so that you can share your insights. What factors do you think people consider when they're looking for a home in the first place? And when people look for a house or when new people move in, what do you think they look for?
First of all, thank you for having me here. I'll be sharing my own opinions, and obviously it may differ from people to people, but home insurance is very important. So in terms of looking at properties, generally it is obviously price and location. These are
Yes.
the main factors. But some expert would look at reoccurring costs. Maybe they would look at service charges, service fees. They would look at utility costs. They might look at transportation back and forth from their residence.
It's a central location and
to
things
work
like
or
that.
to school or something.
Sure.
But home insurance should also be considered. It's not a major factor, but it is an important factor which people should look at, and I think it should be standardized. Most homes should take it. It's a very important cover to protect the individual.
I think, but most people, when they think about home, they look at the locality, as you rightfully said, centric location, facilities around and nearby, and then of course whether it's a signature address to talk about or things like that. But when it comes to home insurance, people consider it to be more of an expense rather than an investment.
That's true. But it is an investment. They need to look into this. You see, I think there's not enough knowledge in the market. Some people don't know about home insurance. Some probably they are aware of it, but they, again, you say they look at it as an expense. I mean, we don't know when some incident might happen. Nobody knows what's to come. So the insurance is important and it's vital. And there are some who know about it, but they are under a misconception, thinking that the building or the developer or the landlord has their own insurance, and when a tragedy happens, they expect the landlord or the association or the master community, or the developer to cover those costs for them, which is not right. I mean, it all comes down to what happened and what caused the loss.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And when you look at, even the insurances, like the two are completely different. When you talk about the insurance that an owners association takes vis-a-vis what I would, for example, take as a flat owner, are
Right.
completely two different things.
Correct.
So how do you identify, or what are the key, what are the main factors one should consider when they're taking an insurance so that there is no overlap?
You see, in homeowners insurance, generally I think there are three main categories. One is structure, the other is content, and the third is personal possession.
Absolutely.
So when it comes to structure, it's obviously covering the structure of the unit or the office or the premises. Most buildings, an association, freehold association, already cover the structure. So that may not be required when you're looking at, but again, they need to verify. They need to check with the association managers, they need to check with the developers, they need to figure it out. So it's better to get a copy of the building insurance, share it with your broker, and then decide what
Yeah, that
policies
makes
you
so
require.
much more sense, because some of the people
Yeah.
don't cover loss of rent. I mean, you have alternative accommodation,
Yes.
but then the period varies.
Correct.
And then again, having an extensive home insurance cover would help. Like, for example, the owners association cover may not extend, actually extend to cover, for example, the contents of my house, like
No,
the
not at all.
furniture.
Yeah, the most property insurances like association insurance, strata policies, all risk building policies don't cover content. They don't cover personal belongings. But obviously the tenants and the owners don't know that, and then they expect these things to be kind of of the losses or damages to be covered by the developer or the association. So specifically content and personal possession is not covered by the building. So it is advisable for all owners to have, or tenants to have home insurance to cover this. There are other additional benefits also. When you take a home insurance, from my knowledge, you get several other things. You get like a third party liability.
Yes.
You get loss of rent and what is it that you said?
Alternate accommodation.
Alternate accommodation.
Then
These are perks
you
that
also
come
get
with the
something
policy.
like a personal liability in case, accidentally I have
Correct,
damaged
correct.
my neighbor's property.
Yes.
Then I'm not sued,
Yeah.
or if there's anything I'm liable for accidentally, then I'm protected under my insurance.
Correct.
And like you rightfully pointed out the other day, you were mentioning about even accidental damages to my
Correct.
possessions, like a phone drops.
Yes, they are all covered. They can be covered. So if you take a home insurance policy from a reputed company, they generally give you these perks. There is even another perk which is tenant's liability. Some of them cover about 100,000, 200,000 in tenant's
So
liability.
important, yeah.
So if you're a landlord, it is advisable to have that. I mean, you don't know what your tenant is doing, what any mishaps that can happen to your unit and caused by the tenant. So if there's a tenant's liability, that also gets covered into it.
So
it is a very important cover that
very
one
right.
should. Yeah.
Given your expertise and your experience, you actually create a lot of awareness, I've seen. So what are some of the initiatives, if you would like to share with the viewers?
Awareness in the sense that
Like I've seen you putting pamphlets of creating awareness from time to time.
Yeah, what we do is, like for associations, yes, we do awareness. I think it should be the industry experts. The
Yes.
insurance company are the ones who should invest in this.
Yes.
Because at the end of it, they get the benefit of it. So, but apart from that, like an association, when I'm connected with associations, what we do is we put flyers and pamphlets in the building. We speak to individuals. When owners come to us, we explain to them the pros and cons, or basically we even help them with what they should look for in the policies.
Excellent.
So that's very important.
But
But I think the torch should be taken over by the insurance companies.
that's such
They-
a noble
they should.
thing that you do when you actually educate people and the
Yeah.
owners. I mean, this is what I feel, that you go beyond your role,
Yeah.
Call of Duty, and actually take the time out to create it, which is what I thought and caught my attention, and I thought I should speak to you
But that's
and
why
get your thoughts.
we are there to assist the owners. That's why
Excellent.
So
And do you also think, like, sometimes you have these fire drills that happen and people are made to actually vacate, and given the situation, like as if really fire is taking place, and how would they evacuate the building and things like that. At that time, there's a whole gathering of these owners that are actually waiting for the drill to actually take place and go through. At that time, if some insurance company comes and does road shows or does awareness campaigns, do you think people would actually relate to it much more? Because given that people are ignorant, maybe that situation actually brings that sort of a thing in the mind that oh, this is something I must consider.
well, you see, the state of mind at that time when they've come down 10 floors or 20 floors is probably not the right state of mind. And during the fire drill, most of the fire drills, sometimes they are coordinated by civil defense.
Okay.
So it does become a sticky situation so you don't know the state of mind. Maybe flyers will work, but I would still prefer it to be like more on instead of during a fire,
on a happy note,
on a
maybe
happy note,
when they
on
can do a
yeah.
coffee
Or,
evening or something like
insurance
that.
companies can approach association managers, then ask them that we want to educate the owners, like we could have an event or something.
Oh yes,
in the
absolutely.
building.
Host an event with tea,
Host an
coffee,
event
some snacks
in
and
the
things like
building,
that.
yeah, and we could
And then-
assist them with
Wow,
that.
that's such a
So
nice thing.
that
So you
could
agree,
work.
insurance again has to be on a positive note, and that's what
Yes.
actually creates much more awareness or
Yes.
instills in a person's mind. Wow,
Right.
that creates a good impact. Well, thank you so much for your time. I'm really
you.
thankful to you for sharing your thoughts and adding value. It's so important to hear from somebody who's been associated with the Owners Association for such a long time.
No,
Thank you
It's my
so much,
pleasure.
and keep ensuring the
Thank you
interest.
so much.
Thank you. Thank you.